don't you just love that introduction? Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and welcome to week 22. Yep, week 22 of Hathor hosts. I'm just like the coronavirus, I'm still here, beaming into your homes weekly, hopefully bringing a little bit of sunshine and joy, unlike the coronavirus. And tonight, I could not be happier because I have not one, not two, but three guests for you guys. And not only are they guests, over the years, they've become really good friends to me. And of course, we have something in common, and that is that we all played quite badass system lords. So put your hands together for a virtual cheer and screaming and shouting, and welcome the goddess that is Nirrti, the gorgeous Jacqueline Samuda, into the room. Woohoo!
Hi, I'm so glad to be here.
Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so delighted to have you here.
Oh, me too. I just, the fact that it's the four of us together again, I can't get enough of that. If we could do that in every country of the world, I'm in.
I'm in too. Somebody sign us up. Yeah. And also, I just realized it's almost a year to the date that the four of us were all together in England doing Kalmar 2. Can you believe that?
Wow, has it really been that long?
Yeah.
It seems like yesterday.
Unbelievable. Mm-hmm. So amazing. So please hold your horses, because now I'd like to welcome and introduce the man with the biggest balls in the room. Yep, I'm talking about the one, the only Cliff Simon. Woohoo!
Thank you, Suanne. Hey, Jackie.
Hi.
So good to be here. Thank you. Awesome.
How are you, buddy?
My balls are pretty big. Yep.
Anyway, we know.
I'm doing well. I'm doing great. I'm out here somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains, North Georgia. Beautiful. I've been here for 3 months. Mm-hmm.
Oh, amazing. Well, we're going to talk about that in a minute, because we want to talk a bit more about your show, your new show. But before we do, we've got to get the rest of the band in the room, because of course then the gang, the Fabulous Four, are back together. I cannot tell you how excited I am to finally be welcoming my lovely friend, the badass that is Apophis, the one, the only, the magnificent Peter Williams.
Hey, hi everybody.
How are you, buddy?
Oh man, I'm just so pleased to be here. You notice I was the first one to jump at this. I jumped at it after keeping you on a long leash for the entire season.
I've made Hathor work for it, baby.
Oh man, actually it was me doing the work. Me doing the work. I'm in a new place here. Yeah,
that's right. You moved home.
That's right. Off-world.
With Apophis wallpaper.
That's right. It was there when I moved in.
Oh, fantastic. Well, guys, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me from all the various parts in the world. Are we lucky? Isn't technology an extraordinary thing?
Amazing.
Yeah. Fantastic.
So what we're going to do this evening, because I can see that there already are loads of comments and things like that. What I'd like to do is I asked a load of people to email some questions in. And I think we'll go to those first, and then we'll jump onto the live stream if anybody wants to ask questions during the live chat. But I wanted to give people an opportunity who maybe felt slightly uncomfortable doing it here in front of everyone else, or for whatever reason couldn't join us right now, to ask the questions. So just before we get to questions, let's do a quick roundup of kind of where everyone's at and what you're doing. Jacqueline, I'm going to start with you.
Sure.
Because I know you've been super busy with self-tapes.
Oh my gosh. It is absolutely a breathless pace, because now actors are being requested to do their auditions in their own homes for safety, and generally, honestly, being cast directly from their home tapes. Now I'm getting, I had one to do over the holiday weekend just yesterday, and then I thought I got to the evening and I thought this was going to be such a lovely day. I was just going to have my conversation with all of you. And then I have 2 other auditions that are due first thing in the morning. So one of them is 8 pages and the other one is 7 pages. So it just means that's my entire day. And everything is just at a breakneck pace. And of course, because of COVID, my kids are home. There's just like lots of stuff happening. And for voiceover, I am now going into voiceover studios. I'm also, my kid meowing, but I'm also doing recording at home for jobs and also auditions. So it's constant.
Yeah, well, that's good. It sounds like you're kind of coming out of the cocoon, and it feels like the industry is slowly waking up. Do you agree, guys?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Definitely starting and kicking off again, for sure.
Yeah. And Mr. Simon, firstly, a very, very happy birthday, dude, for yesterday.
Happy birthday.
Great timing that my birthday was yesterday and today we're chatting. It's awesome.
I know. Are you 21?
What did you say, 21?
21.
No, I'm 41, guys. I'm not going to lie.
And so are you trekking around the Appalachians for your show, or are you just having a bit of a vakantie holiday?
No, so I'm having a vakantie, which for those laymen means holiday. I left LA the end of June to do a major road trip. Decided I needed to get out of the city. I was sick and tired of being there, and I wanted to see some beautiful things and just experience life as it is. You know what I mean? And being on the road and being away out of the city, I was actually kind of isolating a lot more than I would have been sitting in Los Angeles. So my dear Cole and me hit the road, and we did approximately, we headed north right up through Oregon, Montana, South Dakota. Basically, I think we did something like 5,000 miles before we got to our friends here in Georgia. And we just got back last week from another mini 2-week road trip where we went up to Niagara Falls and Vermont and Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. So they did the whole Cape Cod, and then we saw some friends in Portland, Maine. So we did that whole coastline, which I've never seen. So no, it's not a working trip. This is purely a trip to get out of the city. Got great friends here who stay on a beautiful lake up here in North Georgia. So we're in the lake house, and I'm actually looking for property here to buy. So that's one of the reasons we are here. I need more peace and quiet in my life. That's basically it. So that's where I am now.
Nice.
Fantastic. And someone's just wished you happy birthday. It's just popped up on the screen. I was just going to say, I have to just give a quick shout out right at the top of the show for my absolutely genius producer, Drew, and of course, Catherine, who mans the site, the YouTube channel, because trust me, guys, without them, it would just be me talking into my camera going, is anybody there? And lovely Peter, now you have been quite busy during lockdown too. Not only have you moved, you have, may I say, a grandson.
That you may say.
Oh, he is adorable.
He really is. In fact, I just got off the FaceTime with him. He's not talking yet, but he can sure strut his stuff in front of a camera, boy, I tell you. Today, he is 6 months old. So it's
already.
Yes, it's not a birthday as such in terms of years, but it certainly is in terms of months. And he's sitting upright. He gives me warm smiles. He knows who I am. He's sounding hard M sounds now. So I expect to be called Mama pretty soon. And yes, I've moved. I'm in a brand new place on a completely unexplored planet. But there is a Stargate there. So it's easy to come and go. Personally, I have written off 2020. Yes. I intend to begin back in earnest in 2021. Hopefully, I'll be able to resume filming the movie that COVID caught me in the middle of.
Yes, let's hope.
Yes, let's hope. Let's hope. Half a movie is no good to anyone. So
well, who knows? You might have to do it at home and do it yourself. You know, we never know.
Yes, well, it called beach, and I don't think this planet has many of them here.
Yes, it looks like it could be quite cold on your planet.
You can sense that, can you?
I can. What's even more depressing, though, my dear friend, is that I'm looking at the pictures behind you. And like, what is that? You have not aged a day. In fact, all three of you have not aged a day. I can't stand it.
No, I just gone white.
Silver fox, baby.
This house has central sarcophagus.
Yes. We all take shifts in using the sarcophagus. We sort of send it to each other, you know,
That's
every
right.
now and then.
On an 18-wheeler, it just gets rolled around, put on a cruise ship across the,
I've got to thank
FedEx are like, not again.
Got to thank my friends in France for that lovely banner back there, by the way.
It's great.
Merci à vous, messieurs, mesdames. Well, my lovelies, shall we jump straight to it? Because we've got quite a lot of questions to get through.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start, as I said, with the questions that were emailed in, and I'm just going to jump on in. And the first question is for all four of us. So the question is, if there was to be a musical about Hathor, Baal, Apophis, and Nirrti, what would you call it, and what would you sing?
Musical, wow.
Who would like to go first?
4 weddings and 10 billion funerals. I think we could do a lot of damage if we all got together.
I like that.
I don't know what I would
I also
sing
quite like War of the Ghouls.
That's cool. How about Very Villainous?
Oh, yes. And would it be a rock musical, do we think? Or what kind of a musical?
Yeah, I think it would be a rock musical, kind of like a Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yes.
I like that. Yeah.
Yes.
Let's
With
go
a little
with
bit
that.
of humor, because all of us have a little bit of humor, right? We got to throw
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Got
love
to use
that.
it.
Yeah.
Right. We'll be working on that. Kate Hewlett will write the lyrics and the music, and that'll be coming to a theatre next autumn. Right. What are our favorite convention memorable moments? So I'm going to start. Let's start with you, Peter, and we'll go anti-clockwise this time.
Favorite convention memorable moments? Well,
yeah.
Does it have to be favorite? I think most memorable.
Memorable.
Most memorable equates to most recent for me.
Okay.
And I think everybody on this panel can identify. Do you remember when we were asked to preside over a wedding?
Yes.
Somebody actually wanted us to marry them. As if we had the authority to do so.
Yeah.
That was a memorable one. Other memorable ones, of course, always. And I think I share this with all of you too. New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
New Zealand. Going to the Hobbit village.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It was a fantastic experience. Yeah. And I think we were all on that one.
Yeah, we were. That's amazing. We've actually done quite a lot together, which is good that we get on.
Yeah,
we were all on a bus, but we didn't allow Cliff on. He was following us on a bike, if I remember correctly.
That's right.
I was going to say that was one of my memorable moments, but do you want to carry on? Should we carry on?
No, go right ahead. Call it a segue.
In New Zealand, that was like such a memorable moment for me. I wanted to get on and see the little island that we sailed out to.
Oh, yeah.
For those who don't know, we're going to go to this beautiful winery. They were going to have a great lunch. And I just wanted to drive around on the scooter and go to all the beaches and swim as much as I could. And then I said I'd meet them at the winery, which I did later on. But then on the way back to the ferry, it was pouring with rain. And I was trying to keep up with the bus. And I had this little 50cc scooter. And I was soaking wet. And I just remember everyone's faces looking back at me out of the bus.
I just remember you were like here, and then.
Yeah. It was such a fun time. Yeah, that was a great day.
Yeah, New Zealand was a really big one for me too. For one thing, because we did, Australia and New Zealand. So there was that week in between. And my husband and I actually traveled down through Rotorua and just had this incredible trip. I remember going into the mineral spas at Rotorua and thinking, well, if the mineral waters are good for my body, they're probably good for my face. And I kept patting my face with the water, and thank God the next convention appearance was 5 days later, because I turned my face into like basically a snake skin. It just became
no,
absolutely. And another memory from New Zealand was it was just such a big convention, and they had all the performers from What We Do in the Shadows, and I hadn't seen it. I ended up seeing it on the flight back to Canada. But I was just so impressed with these guys wearing their incredible vampire costumes. And I had some kind of thread or something was stuck on my clothing, and I had to walk into the next green room and ask to borrow some scissors. So I went up to this very terrifying looking vampire, it was Peter, and asked if I could borrow some scissors. And I said, "Oh, hi, I'm Jacqueline." And he said, "I know who you are." I was thrilled. And so then, of course, I saw Ben Francham playing Peter in What We Do in the Shadows on the way back, and absolutely loved the movie. And so it was just so cool to see someone dressed in the most ghoulish costume, just looking at me meaningfully. I know who you are.
And also, he was really, he's handsome, Ben Francham. He's young and handsome, and he plays this Nosferatu type 1,000-year-old vampire, which was hilarious. I have to say New Zealand also was one of the tops. And then also my very first con ever was in Australia, and they invited me via South Africa. So I didn't really know if it was real. I was like, am I going to be abducted by the Moonies or something? Like, will I never be seen again? And I remember landing and thinking, I better just put a bit of makeup on in case they kind of, in case there's someone here to meet me. And I came through the gates, and there were like 200 people all going, "Suanne, Hathor, welcome." I was like, oh my goodness gracious me, that's incredible.
Wow.
So we've been really, really lucky, and that's, thanks to Stargate.
We've seen all done on that show, just traveling around to these amazing places and meeting the most amazing people. I think that's why, for me, going to New Zealand and that, I've met such amazing, I've met amazing people everywhere, but New Zealand especially, it kind of reminds me, they have that spirituality like Hawaii.
Absolutely.
That inner spirituality, which is so amazing to experience, So, all the shows. My first show was in Germany, and I was doing body shots. They were doing body shots of me because of Peter Dinklage. So that kind of burnt into my head, That was my first convention experience, and Peter forced me to do that. Well, he bent my rubber arm, put it that way. But it was fun. We've been very lucky.
Yeah, we have indeed. All right, my next question is for Jacqueline. And this person says, I'd love to ask Jacqueline what she thought of her character's death. It stands out to me as it seemed quite nasty and not a little bit brutal, i.e. brutal.
Yes, it was brutal, especially because I died in a script that I co-wrote the story for, and I didn't write the dying part, and I'm leafing through frantically, hoping that I'm like, ta-da, I was kidding. I'm still but it was actually fun to shoot, and technically it was quite strange because, of course, I'm lifted off the ground, and we wanted that shot of the feet just wagging down there like the Wicked Witch. And so it was physically kind of bizarre because we had two big, strong guys. Might have been Jaffa, might have been Grips. I'm not sure right now. I had to hang my arms over basically a pole, and then they lifted. I had to kind of just like go with it and hold myself up there on this bar and then wag my feet. And then, then it's just like hit the ground and then a little bit of the light effects in the eyes to give it a bit of sass. But I enjoyed shooting it, but I hated the fact that I died. I just wanted to keep coming back and back and back.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did.
Yes,
I know.
Kept coming back and back and back and back.
Yeah, I was glad to come back.
So did I. Actually, I didn't keep coming back and back and back. They kept killing me, but there was just so many of me. They couldn't get rid of me. They didn't bring me back. They couldn't get rid of me.
Exactly. So the next question is for you, Pete. Peter, it is, have you and Apophis got over your warrior Matty Cash switching sides yet? In brackets, he will probably know who this question is from, lol.
I can't remember your name, but you're a Villa supporter, aren't you? Yes. I'm sorry, guys. This is football. We've started the season. The first post-COVID season starts this Saturday.
Oh,
and the
okay,
team
cool.
that I have in my heart from my days at uni in Nottingham, England, is Nottingham Forest. They died an agonizing death at the end of last season and had to sell their best player in order to make a go of next season. And this guy, it sounds like, put up the money.
Okay.
And no, I haven't gotten over it, but that depends on the transfer market for the rest of the week. And before we bore everybody, will you accept that as an answer?
I hope so. Hopefully you're watching.
Yeah.
I didn't understand a word of it.
Football.
It's
Football.
Soccer, isn't it?
Soccer. Yeah.
Next question is for all of us, and it is, what was our favorite moment with Amanda Tapping? The goddess, no, I'm the goddess, the empress, grand empress of sci-fi. I'm happy to go first. One of my favorite moments was when Hathor sort of teases her and is almost flirting and seductive and kind of says to her, "You're a very attractive woman. You're a very beautiful woman." And I just love that, because I sort of think if we were to go back now and do it again, I think that would be an interesting story to explore. But I loved the kind of like her, the characters sort of like, what? Who is this crazy woman? And obviously Amanda is just amazing. I mean, like, I've never met a human being who doesn't have raves and raves and raves about her. You know, really, it's just been 22 weeks I've been doing the show, and in every single Stargate show, every actor has talked about how amazing she is and how much they love her. So, you know, and I think it's true. Anyone else?
I absolutely loved holding Amanda at that point. I thought that was really fun. Like, it was great to just be a threat to her with all of these Jaffa kind of sprawled around. And I was holding the cards in that moment. And that was it. Always, you know, when you're playing a god or goddess, and the power imbalances are key in every single scene. So it's fun when you're the one who's got the holding the cards in that moment, or the zap.
Exactly. The upper hand. Exactly.
Mine was, I mean, obviously when Amanda smacked me, when Carter smacked me in the nose, because I never really had much interaction with Carter during the series, but that was the one time where we were together. I mean, the whole episode, basically, we were together, and then she hit me. So it was so amazing, because playing this big bad dude who gets smacked by Carter, and of course, she's the hero. She's got to come off looking good. But it was a great moment for Baal and for Carter. That for me was a very memorable moment. It was so well written as well. It was just great. And in that scene, a lot of people have spoken about it at conventions. Chris was actually, I fell at Chris's feet, at Tilk's feet, and he pulled out a handkerchief, a little napkin out of his pocket, so I could wipe the blood off my nose. And it was such an amazing moment, but they didn't keep it. And we were both hoping that they kept it, because it was such an amazing moment between Baal and Tilk again, but they never kept it. But that was, it was such a great day that. And, you know, just going on what Amanda, you're saying, like, all the actors, you know, rave about her. She's just, you know, she's just a professional. And, you know, she was always around a set. She was always super friendly, like everyone was. She was a professional, but when it comes down to work, it's time to work. And, you know, I'm a big believer in that, you know, keep things light, keep it happening. We all got to work very long hours, but when it's time to work, get down and work, you know. And I think that way you earn people's respect, you know, which she definitely did.
Yeah, agreed. Peter, how about you?
Well, after the Children of the Gods episode, I had this daydream about Apophis capturing Carter and taking her off somewhere, and then SG-1 having to come and rescue her. Because the selection process for Apophis's mate was always very interesting. But my best Amanda tapping moment happened at a con. I show up at this con. I believe it was a gate con. I'm not sure which one it was. And I had noticed how big Amanda tapping is in the World Wide Web.
Yeah.
And I wanted a strategic photograph of myself with Amanda, and I was working up my courage to ask her, because we didn't have that much to do with each other on the show. The storylines rarely overlapped. To my surprise, I was on stage at the convention, and Amanda comes out of the wings unsolicited and plants a big kiss on my cheek, and it was captured by fans. That was my favorite Amanda tapping moment. I didn't even have to ask. She got into my space, gave me the photo op I was looking for, and the rest is history. I made mileage out of that. Must have got me 3,000 followers.
I love that.
Amanda's powerful.
Question. Oh, she
Very
is.
powerful.
She's amazing. We love you, Amanda.
Yes, we do.
Right, next question is, I'm so sorry, guys. If anyone is asking questions, I can't, at the moment, I've got my script in front of me, all the questions, so I can't see if you're asking questions, but we're going to try and get through these first, and then I promise you we will get to the live chat. So please bear with us. I move at human speed at the moment due to the virus, not goddess speed. So here is a question. Well, we've done that one, which is, and this is for everyone. Was there a certain line that you had trouble saying and had to alter? And also, is there a costume you all had to wear that wasn't that comfortable?
I'll go first on that one. Every single outfit I wore was uncomfortable. Just so everyone knows. Super hot, super uncomfortable to work in, but they looked amazing. And that's all that mattered. I mean, I used to get heat rashes working with those costumes on, with leather boots and all leather. And I used to break out in heat rashes wearing that stuff. But as far as words, things, well, there was only one incident where I wouldn't say it was hard to say something. I refused to say something. Peter wanted me to scream when an explosion went off in my ship. And I said to him, Paul would not scream when an explosion happens. He's used to, he's a warlord. This is what he does, And he's like, you won't scream? You're not going to scream? I'm like, no, I'm not going to scream. So that was a very funny day. And then, I don't know who was the DOP at that time. One of them came up to me and said, Cliff, you're not going to scream, are you? I said, nope. And they said, good. But it was one of those moments that, like, if I did that, it would have changed the whole character. For me, everything would have changed for him. So it wasn't about something I had difficulty in saying. It was just something I refused to say. That was the one and only time. Yeah, I
agree. Jacqueline, how about you? How was your costume to wear?
My costumes were actually great because I wasn't like you, just with a stick of gum and a piece of string. I actually had an outfit. It had air though, so I wasn't all steamy. I usually had an exposed midriff, definitely an exposed décolletage, and generally speaking, super comfortable. I guess occasionally I was wearing sort of hat things, which I wasn't wild about, but nothing was really an issue. The only thing that was tedious for me was when I was having the Mendy put on my hand. So they would draw on my hand. And originally it took a very long time until we discovered stencils, and then it was just a breeze. So I had nothing to complain about. And as for the dialogue, no, I was good. No issues. I always wanted more.
Yes, exactly. How about you, Peter?
The line I had the most difficulty with was the one line in Continuum. The one line in Continuum. And
I don't remember that.
It might have gotten cut off.
Line?
I'm teasing you.
It was a line to Baal, and it was something to the effect of, may your life lasts minutes and your death last years, or something to that effect. But I can't remember off the top of my head right now. And
Peter,
Cliff never lets me
goal-
forget that.
That was my favorite line in the entire 5 seasons that I was in the show. That was my favorite moment.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yes. Well, I have to allow you that one.
And Peter, that gold costume that's in the photograph behind us. I mean, how was that to wear? That does not look comfortable.
Well, for those of you that don't know, that's a 60-pound item of clothing. It weighed 60 pounds. There were 2 of them. One of them had mechanical articulation so that it could open and close, and the other one was permanently open. The permanently open one was heavy rubber, and the one with mechanics inside had mechanics inside made of metal that were quite heavy. They were both uncomfortable, and I could talk for an hour on that one, but I won't bore you.
That'll be for when you come on the show on your own. We'll do one when you come on the show.
We'll do that.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, for me, my costume was unbelievably uncomfortable. I couldn't sit down. I couldn't really breathe. They had to kind of like get me into it, and I couldn't sit for the whole day. I had a board that I would sort of be leant up against when I needed to rest. And it was, super uncomfortable. I don't think there were any lines that I had difficulty in, other than just kind of like getting the, like I remember saying something like ring tel knock, and sort of getting the emphasis in all the right places. But same thing as you, Cliff, uncomfortable, but they looked great. And,
No, I got to just to reiterate on that. Like, I looked so forward every time going there to work to see what outfit I was going to be wearing, because they were so beautiful. And they were tailor-made. So when you put them on, they fitted like a glove, right? Even the boots were tailor-made for my feet. So they fitted like a glove. They were just very bulky and, like Peter says, heavy and very hot to work in. But, that's what we do as actors. Make it look easy, right?
Yeah. Did any of you guys keep any of your costumes? Did anyone keep anything of their costumes, or all their costumes?
I went home one day unaware that I was still wearing my earrings and my bindi. So
Sure.
No, and then I phoned wardrobe on the way home, and they were just like, nah. And
exactly.
Suanne has them now.
Oh, that's so cool.
I kept my boots from Continuum. They let me keep the boots. And after a couple of years, I used to watch them sitting in my cupboard every day. And eventually I was like, this is such a waste. They're such amazing boots, custom made for me. And I decided I needed to let somebody who is a collector or something rather get pleasure out of them. So I put them up for auction, and I auctioned them off to, I apologize if they're watching their name, I can't remember. But they have a full museum of Stargate stuff at their home. A couple of rooms dedicated to Stargate, and they put those boots in a beautiful glass case in their home. So they're getting appreciated, So I was really happy with that. So they're in
if they're watching, I'm going to try and I'm jumping onto the comments and see if you are watching, whoever that is, say hello, tell us your name. Yeah. Right, next question. Let us see. This is for you, my lovely Cliff. The question is, what is it like investigating the night marches? That sounds quite scary.
Yeah, so talking about New Zealand and the spirituality and the Hawaiian people, there's so much spirituality there. I know Peter understands a lot of what I'm talking about here. There's such a power in the land of Hawaii, and I was really excited to go there because I do love Hawaii. I've been there once before, and going over to investigate something like the night marches, which is so legendary there, and the Hawaiian people are genuinely scared and fearful of these night marches. They're warrior ghosts who used to protect the kings of the island. So the kings would never go anywhere without their bodyguards, call them bodyguards, right next to them. So now they have on the dark moon on Hawaii every month, they have what they call a march, but that's why they're called the night marches. And people see them marching with torches and everything like that. And you're not allowed to look at them. If you look at them, you die. That's the whole legend and the story. And I spoke to very credible people, and they are terrified of them. And they said to me, Cliff, whatever you do, do not, if you see them or hear them, do not look at them. Do not look at them. And I definitely felt something, and I thought I heard something. I didn't look at anyone, but the belief in them is so strong, and that's what makes them real. So as far as I'm concerned, they're real.
Was that one of your episodes?
Yes, that was. It was actually the first episode we shot, but I think when it aired a couple of weeks ago, it was the second last episode. They just changed the order, and I got the most amazing spirituality tattoo right there.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, that was an amazing thing. I went through such a great. I can't think of it now. I can't think of the word. Tattoo ceremony with an amazing tattoo priest. He's the first guy in his family in like 140 years that has been trained to do this, and it's all done with a tapping with the bones, completely traditional marking way. So
I got haunted in Hawaii. I got actually haunted in Hawaii. I was staying with a friend, so we were sharing the bed in her parents' guest house.
Yeah.
And it was like a small kind of suite where the bathroom is next to the bed. And in the night she got up and you hear plop, dip, 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 and the door opens and closes and dip, 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 back to bed. And then I get up, dip, dip, door open, close, dip, dip. And then I hear again, dip, 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 dip. And I look over and I see her and I close my eyes. And this was years ago, but thank God I thought to do this because I just said, do not show yourself to me. And in the morning I look over at my friend and I say, are there ghosts here? And she said, oh, I should have told you. I know you're sensitive. That's why we have all the incense and everything. Yeah, this house was built over some burial land. And yeah. So, but before I went back to bed, because I sat up when I heard this and I felt like a cold wind go into the back of my heels, like just. And then I went back to Canada and I went to Banff, which is another very spiritual meeting of tectonic plates, and Native people don't live there generally. They go there for dream workshops and stuff. And the whole first night I felt like I was being oppressed by something. And in the next morning, the leader of the workshop said, how did everyone sleep? I know there's a lot of crazy spiritual stuff around here. And I said, well, I was being bugged by a succubus like all night long. I didn't get a wink. And one of her associates said, meet me in your room in 5 minutes. And she came down, and I'm not a churchgoer. I'm spiritual, but I'm not a churchgoer. She came down with holy water, and she said, I never travel anywhere without it. Wow. Around the room, and I was like, no, sprinkle it on me. I brought it from Hawaii.
Wow.
And I never had an issue after that.
It's
not a joke.
What island were you on?
It was Kauai, I think.
Kauai?
I'm terrible with yeah.
What about you, Cliff?
They have specific routes which they used to walk on all the islands, throughout all the islands, and specific routes. And what's happened is the Hawaiian people try not to build homes on the actual routes because they will walk through your home, which means you're going to get these spirits, some kind of force coming through your house. And there's been a lot of like what you're talking about. Things happen to people, and they've built hotels. There are some hotels there that are built on the night marcher routes, and people experience very strange things going on there the whole time, especially on Big Island. One of the floors of one of the hotels on the Big Island, they don't even rent the rooms out because there's so much ghost activity going on there. Crazy.
Amazing. Yeah. I was going to say, for those who've been living under a rock, and who don't know, tell us a little bit, Cliff, just very quickly about your show, and because it has different names, doesn't it, in different countries, and where you're at with it.
Yeah. So anyway, in the United States, it's been called Into the Unknown. It was the season just finished last week. It aired on Travel Channel, and overseas, maybe in Europe, even in South Africa, it's been airing on the History Channel, and it's called Uncharted Mysteries. So they've given it the two names. It obviously appeals to different demographics there. It's an investigative paranormal adventure show. I go out, just this guy with this interest. I have certain skills to go out there and do it with this interest in the paranormal. And I want to find out if things are true or not, if we can prove them scientifically or not. If we can't, we can't. If we can, we can. Fantastic. So
and you've had an amazing time, haven't you? You've been loving it.
Oh yeah, it's totally. I mean, this is something I've been working on with the other creator of the show for over 4 years. It's just totally me. There's nothing more satisfying than just being yourself on camera and going out and doing what you love in. I mean, I'm swimming across rivers, I'm climbing mountains, I'm just me and a tight team of there's 4 of us. We go out to these most amazing remote places, even right here in North Carolina, right out into the woods in the middle of nowhere at 3 a.m. in the morning. And, we're experiencing these very, very odd things and sometimes pretty dangerous things,
Amazing.
It's totally up my alley and just, I'm loving it. And we have fingers crossed for season 2.
Cliff,
Awesome.
you said me and a tight team, and I thought you were going to say me and a tight T-shirt.
I do
they're all
keep
tight until he shows his tattoo.
My amazing director, Mike Sheehan, is like, Cliff, take your shirts off. We got to get the ratings up. I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm not joining you, but hey, let's do it. So hey, the shirt's got to come off.
Right. So looking at the time, it's 10 to 10 here. So we've almost done an hour. And Erica has the earrings in Bindi. That's hilarious. And also Steffi is the lady, Cliff, who has all the props, which is amazing.
I remember. Thank you, Steffi. Thanks for letting us know. Awesome.
And hi, Erica.
So I'm going to quickly, I hope you guys can stay on because I know we'll go over an hour. I'm just going to sort of mix and match questions. I'm not sure we're going to be able to get through all of these, but I'm going to sort of handpick and I'll do my best. The next one is for you, Peter. And it's sort of for all of us, but specifically for Peter, because it says, how did you work with all the languages as you all had to in the scripts? But particularly you, Peter, because you had to speak Goa'uld and ancient Egyptian.
You know what? From the get-go, they had somebody on set coaching you through the ancient Egyptians. So that wasn't as difficult as it sounded, especially as it sounds, especially when you consider that the dialogue for the Goa'uld is pretty sparse anyway. They give you a few key words, Sholba, Malkek, and things like that, and Chapai, and these are words that are actually researched and phonetic in the way in a realistic way. And how did we manage? Well, accents come easily to me because I've got 2 or 3 in this little head of mine.
Yeah.
So they all compete.
They all compete, your accents?
Yeah, they do. Compete. Oh, never mind.
Right, this is a great question. The actual question is, greetings to you, my queen. I hope your day is as fantastic as you are. Thank you. I have a question for yourself and your lovely guests. I find myself wondering, because I wonder about these things quite often, what kind of socks, if any, does a big, bad, evil system lord wear? Yes, I am serious. I really love socks. I even have the word tattooed in ancient on my leg. So who would like to go first about what kind of socks they wear?
I'm going to go get a pair of my socks so you can see. Excuse me.
It's an exclusive, ladies and gentlemen. We're getting Cliff Simon's socks.
Well, I'm actually wearing socks right now in my running shoes. And there's one.
Ooh, yes.
The little socket goes in my running shoes.
An anklet sock.
All right.
But most often, I have big, thick, woolly, warm ones for padding around my house with grips on the bottom.
Oh, I love those with the little suckers on the bottom.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I used to have those as well. Yeah, this is kind of what I wear.
No.
Seriously,
I don't have socks.
love these socks. I have socks with all these little messages on because only I know they're on there. So like this one, if there is an arsehole sitting next to me, I kind of hike my jeans up a little bit so he can see there, the side. There's arseholes everywhere. I love it. It's my little joke.
I am sockless tonight. I don't know if you see. Oh, no one needs to see my feet because it's very warm here. All of a sudden, it's been freezing, but it's warm.
That's an insult in certain cultures,
Sorry, everyone. I was hoping to do a delicate side view, not a kind of full frontal foot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm with you. I like the thick woolly. That's what I like. The thick woolly socks. And they're amazing. The merino sheep have the most amazing socks. So I get my socks sent to me from South Africa, which seems very decadent. Oh, Jacqueline's bought a pair of hers. 2 pairs.
Jacqueline. Nice.
Somebody say
Amazing.
sheep.
Oh, cute.
This is
What's
Maya.
her name?
This is Maya.
I love that. All right, next questions, my darlings. If we were all to go away together, where would we like to go? On this planet?
I want to go to South Africa. You have 2 Jamaicans here and 2 South Africans.
Yes, let's make it happen.
And I would like to go to South Africa.
Suanne,
Okay.
Suanne and I will take you guys on an amazing safari. I think that would be an amazing trip.
I'm in.
Me
I'm
too.
in.
Let's do that as soon as we can.
Yep.
As soon as it's able to travel. Okay,
Peter,
which
finish the
storyline? Sorry.
Sorry.
Go ahead,
No,
Cliff.
you carry on. I was going to say something stupid, and I'm glad you cut me because I always say something stupid. I was going to say, but I am stupid, so I'm going to say it. So as soon as Peter finishes the other half of the movie he was shooting before COVID, he'll have a paycheck, and he can take us all to South Africa, okay? Because I'm unemployed.
Theoretically. Theoretically.
Or Jacqueline is going to book one of the multiple films that she's self-taping for
Yes.
and screen testing for.
And when Hathor hosts gets picked up for syndication.
You know it, baby. Yes, HBO, if you're watching.
Yeah.
I mean, where else can you see a program that talks about
stands
dogs
for
and
Hathor.
feet? I need some Hathor socks, I think. Right, let's have a little look. So this is a good one. Which storyline from Apophis, Nirrti, Baal, and Hathor do you wish that your Goa'uld could have done? So I think it's like, what do you envy anything about any of the others, and what would you like to have done?
Oh, without question.
Okay.
I wish I could have been cloned like Baal. Without question. I think multiple Apophi would have been the way to go.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Geez. You know what? For me, I like, and I hate to say this, but I don't really know. I came in kind of late,
That's true.
a while after you guys, so I don't really know much of what your storylines were. And I'm sorry to say that. I just don't really know. I mean, I would say, for Apophis, dude, I loved your gold outfits. I do. Like the one in that poster. I love those outfits.
Yeah. Well,
I would like to have worn them. But as far as the storylines, I can't really say. I'm sorry, but yeah. But I would love to have been somebody else, for sure. What a great experience.
Yeah.
I love every single one of your characters. Peter, absolutely. I would have loved to have made your first entrance.
yes.
Similarly, Hathor, your first entrance. Baal, my experience with you on Continuum, I just wanted to be that guy who's offing people left and right. Nothing in this way. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
All.
Yeah, I think also I would have loved. I thought your costumes, Jacqueline, were amazing.
They were.
All 3 of you, actually, just to wear your costumes. And I just would have loved to have had, Cliff, your trajectory of coming back so often and really having the character grow more and more. I mean, you had that as well, Peter. Well, actually, all 3 of you did. It's just me then. I'm just gonna go. I'm back.
Okay. Well, we're all jealous of your bathtub scene.
Yes.
Don't be.
absolutely.
I ended up smelling like a piece of rotten plastic for about a week because the shrimpy things in the bath started to melt.
Oh.
And I promise you, I was high, like some kind of dodgy. It's probably why I haven't got COVID-19. It's probably irreparable damage.
You were inoculated.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Guys, I just want to interject and say, I love you guys. I love the fans. I love the whole Stargate enterprise. But I get so much pleasure every single time we assemble there's something really special. And I thank you, Suanne, for making it happen again in these crazy times where we couldn't do it in person. It's just such a good time. Always.
Here. I second that.
Second that,
so
Suanne.
much.
Yeah. Like, what a great idea you had. I know from the fans, from feedback I've had from people, I mean, they love the show, and they just love the fact that you went ahead and did this. Even our great buddy Gideon said to me, wow, you know, Suanne is like killing it with the show. And I said, yeah, because I saw him. He's now living in New Jersey, and I went to his new home and saw him and the family. And he sends his love, and he said, yeah, your show's just great. So I said, no, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's gotten the whole thing. It's refreshed everything and all the actors and that. So it's awesome.
Oh, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Don't feel like you have a storyline like us. You're holding us all together. It's very important.
Suanne, you totally inspired. You inspired my setup here.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys.
This is my second Zoom call.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I have been hibernating. I have been totally disconnected.
It's been a good time to do that, though, I think, you know, to have real kind of reflection on what we want from the world and where we're going and stuff like that. So
that's right.
You know, and I have to say, I feel the same. Like, thank you so much for saying that about the show. It means the world to me, because to be perfectly honest, I had the idea. It all stemmed from, I watched a really bad Instagram live where the interviewer was so terrible. And I was watching it going, this is terrible. A goat could do better. And then I kind of just had this idea at like 3 a.m. I thought, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to write to all the actors I've ever known. And I went big balls. I was like, I'm writing to this one. I'm writing to that one. I was like, hey, I'm doing a show. Do you want to do it? I didn't really think about the name. I was just like, I'm going to call it Hathor Hosts. I didn't know if anyone would say yes or who would say yes. And then everyone said yes. Well, mostly everyone, Peter. I love you, buddy. I'm only kidding.
Yeah. We talked.
No, we talked. Exactly. And you were moving and, you know, it just wasn't.
Yeah.
That wasn't the right time. And
I had no internet for 1 month.
That's right.
No internet, no TV, and no internet for 1 month with house guests.
Was it liberating or horrendous?
Let me tell you. Well, I learned stuff. You learn stuff. You learn to do other things.
Yeah, exactly.
I have been cooking a storm.
Have you? Jamaican food, or what have you been cooking?
All kinds, all sorts. And I have a teenager in my house who can make bagels, cheesecake, cheesecake.
Nice.
Pita bread. She makes her own pita bread. If we don't have pita bread, she says, I can make it. She goes on YouTube and she Googles how to make pita bread, and next thing you know, it's made.
Wow.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to, just before we hand over to questions, to the live questions, I've got 2 more questions here I'd like to ask. One is, over a decade has passed, that's being kind. Over a decade has passed since you last portrayed a system lord in Stargate. I was wondering what you would have bring to your character or done differently with years later in retrospect. So I guess, what would we do differently now if we were to go back and do it again? Or what would we learn?
To be a lot badder, wouldn't we? Because bad is so extant now, you know?
Yeah.
We would just have to be worse.
Yeah.
Meaner.
I love that. Yeah, meaner and with better, more comfortable costumes.
Yes.
And I think I would have been more relaxed too. Like, I've always enjoyed your stories, Cliff, where you talk about how you just really settle into your power instead of projecting the power. You kind of sit in it. And I've never forgotten that. I was like, that is great. And that's what I would do next time. I'd basically copy Cliff.
Yeah.
Copy. Well, that's cool. No, thanks. I'll take that as a compliment, because yes, Peter, for sure. Bad is, there's a new kind of bad now.
Yes.
Yeah.
10 or 20 years ago, for sure.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I wouldn't play Baal there would be a few tweaks, but I would play him very, very much the same. Like Jacqueline says, that relaxed, like, I'm not a big believer in playing a bad guy as a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
dialogue's going to do that, and my actions are going to do that. That's why I wanted to laugh, and I wanted to be funny. I wanted to be like, what is this guy going to do? Is he going to shoot somebody in their head, or is he going to make them laugh to death? Like, I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of like how I am. I mean, of course, I'm the actor who portrayed him, so a lot of the character is me, Cliff. But yeah, so I mean, just a little bit badder, but I would play him definitely with the same sense of humor. I think that's what worked for him, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you, Jacqueline? Anything for you?
No, just that relaxed energy. I think I would go there more than that kind of Shakespearean auteur that, you know, but that was sort of, I'm not going to say it was the trend, but it was kind of what was asked of us, and I was more obedient than Cliff.
Yeah.
It was right for the time. That's the whole thing. I mean, if you look back at TV shows from the 80s or the 70s, I mean, they kind of can be laughable in a way because it's just, but at the time, it was phenomenal. It was amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, how long I came into the show years after you guys.
Yeah.
That's right. We all had an element of camp about us that you didn't.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true. Actually.
Yeah.
That's good. Very, very.
You were more of the new kind of baddie when you came along.
Yeah.
Cliff.
So, lovely David Lindbergh saying, not a question, but thank you all for attending. Kalmar, thank you for bringing that up. True. You made it such fun for everyone. We look forward to seeing you again. Oh, thank you so much, you guys. We can't wait to come back. We absolutely can't wait to come back.
Thank you, buddy. So David, thank you for the birthday wishes, man. I'm so happy you remembered, and missed you guys. Yep.
Hang in there, Will.
Yeah, absolutely. Sending love to you both. So last two questions from the email thing. So if anyone wants to stand by for some questions, and if you guys are okay to stay on for maybe another 15, 20 minutes, and then
I'll have to leave I have another commitment at 15.
Yeah.
Audition.
Okay, yeah, exactly. She's got to go get a job, you guys. So we'll do a very, very quick one. So quick last, if you guys had a chance to play another character on Stargate, who would it be and why?
Richard Dean Anderson, the Colonel, because he's the boss.
Yeah,
Obvious
ditto,
reasons.
same.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that definitely would have been mine.
I'd go for Gary Jones. I'll go for Gary Jones's character because I'd love to. He had the simplest lines. Counting down those chevrons. I would love to count down the chevrons.
My best ever with Gary, because I had him on the show right in the beginning, and he was like, yeah, I had an action figure made, or an in-action figure, because he just, the figure was like at the computer. I love that. I was like, perfect. Speaking of action figures, can you guys see mine? I'm going to try and, oh God, how do I do this? There, up there. She's, how do I get my finger to point to the, there, up there, yes, well done, Drew. Oh. She's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Oh yeah, I see her.
There she is. Oh God, I'm pointing like no one can see. Anyway, right, question from Mustang Sally. Can you relate to your character in any way?
Are we back?
Yes, we're back. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, cool. So question from Mustang Sally. Can you relate to your character in any way?
Well, I go through the same process whenever I'm selecting a mate.
Which is what?
Well, you got to inspect the package. So I remove the wrapper.
Yes.
And I feast my eyes, and I evaluate based on the way the light hits the surface of the body.
Excellent.
And then I pick.
I forget the question.
Can we relate? I'm relating to children of the gods.
Okay.
Right.
It's all there. That brings it back to square one, to episode 1.
Right. So
yes. I and now that I have a grandson, I really enjoyed, cuddling the little Goa'uld symbiote.
Lovely. I love that. Jacqueline, how about you? How can you relate to your character? In what way, if any?
I'm not going to say relate so much as envy. I enjoyed the becoming invisible part, even though, of course, it was done by computers and not by me, but I really would envy that. But wouldn't that be handy to just be able to, in the blink of an eye, vanish, be present, be able to hear, see,
yes,
affect others, but you're not seen and you can't be punished. I like that.
Absolutely. How about you, Cliff? Anything that you can relate to?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of it's an odd question. I mean, I can relate to the character because I created him and he was just me. Seriously, I mean, Baal was 10% Baal and 90% Cliff. But as far as doing things like physical things, 100%. If there was no law and order in this world, I would love to like torture people with acid and knives, like. Seriously, because I just think that's
we've gone from
cool.
socks to acid and knives.
There are assholes everywhere. Listen, there's been times when I would love to tie somebody up and go zoom with a knife.
Yes. So don't piss him off.
Yeah, but no, I'm joking about that because I don't want to kill anybody, but
No,
I would like to scare people. I would like to scare people. Yeah.
I like that. Right, somebody's asking what my shoe size is, asking for the socks. My shoe size is 6 UK, which is 8 American, which is actually quite delicate for a lady of my height. Just so that you know. I'm just putting it out there. So I have a question here, and that is, if we had an answering machine together, what would the message be? Convoluted, I suspect.
I think it would have to be just a really long, one of those like long planet names that has like all the letters and numbers. You've reached XYP5594, it just goes on and on and on. Yeah.
For answers in English, press 1.
For answers in Google, please press. Right now, let's have a little quick look here. I'm just trying to see if anyone wants any questions. How has your time? This is from Joseph. How has your time on Stargate affected you personally?
Well, it's like the gift that keeps on giving, where you get to keep reassembling with people that you love hanging out with, talking about a show you had a great time doing, and travel the world doing it. Like the fact that conventions are still happening and fans are still, well, I mean, obviously temporarily not, and fans are still keen and happy to meet with us performers, and it's just. That's a huge impact on one's life to become part of a community that's so stable and so loving and so durable. It's incredible.
Yeah, I second that actually. And I think also the friendships that we've made, like here we are 20 something years later. And although I didn't meet all of you guys on the actual set, we've met through conventions, and it's like family. Whenever we're together, it's genuinely close and like family. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's worldwide too. It's global. I mean, we've got friends in. I communicate regularly with friends in Italy, UK, Newfoundland, just throughout the States, Australia, New Zealand, Germany.
Yeah,
left
exactly.
anyone out. You understand? Yeah, it's global. It's global.
Exactly. So,
also,
guys, sorry, go ahead.
Quickly, as actors, we're very lucky to meet the people who watch us and get feedback on what we do. I think only sci-fi actors, maybe horror genre actors, get to experience that, and it's important because we see immediate feedback. And I mean, you, Suanne, you've done so much theater. You only get that and Jackie, you only get that immediate feedback in theater, which I have done, unfortunately, not enough of, but I think I've kind of experienced it doing these conventions. And I mean, you're on air that week, and that weekend you're at a convention. Everyone's talking about that episode and about performance and asking you questions about it. It's amazing, so we're very lucky. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think exactly that, Cliff, you're so right. And the fandom is so loyal and so supportive, which is just phenomenal.
And I've seen that,
guys,
I've seen that with my show. So, thank you to everyone. I mean, they want to watch whatever we're doing now, and it's so amazing and humbling and just like awesome. Yeah.
I had a guy in my basement here hammering some nails the other day. He did his job. He went away. 3 days later, I hear my doorbell rings. The guy comes back and he says, I told my sister whose house I was just working in, and she sent me back to get a picture to prove it. So
that's so cool.
I had to sign a picture, send it for her. It just changes your life in little ways.
Yeah, absolutely. It is the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
So guys, I am going to wrap this up because I know that everyone's got to get going. I'm so sorry to anyone whose questions we didn't get to, but obviously we've done an hour and 15 minutes and the time has flown. We'll just have to do another one at some other point. So my last question is to you all, what would people be surprised to learn about you? Don't think about it too much, but what is something that might be surprising for people to learn?
I am not actually at this moment in reality off-world. I am actually here.
I love that. Jacqueline, what about you?
I've jumped off a 50-foot cliff.
Ooh,
maybe
and not Simon.
And then not Cliff Simon.
And did I mention that Nirrti was Jamaican?
Yes, and I jumped off the cliff in Jamaica. I jumped off the cliff at Rick's Cafe. And I was dared to do it by a fellow who worked at the hotel, and he was wearing his little leopard mankini. And he dared me to jump off the cliff. And I said, I don't have a bathing suit. He said, I'll buy you a bikini. So I was like, oh, I need a new bikini. So I did it. And then I stepped over the sign that said, don't jump, you're going to die. And I turned back because I was going to change my mind. And all the people sitting at the cafe started applauding. And of course, the performer in me was like, well, all right. So I jumped, but it took so long to get to the water that I had time to panic halfway. And so I lifted my one knee up. So I hit the water on the back of my thigh and went down 20 feet, saw all the boulders I could have hit and killed myself. And then I thought, and now I'm going to drown trying to get out. But anyway, I had a bruise like this big on the back of my thigh for the rest of my beach vacation, which was crazy. But I've never forgotten it, and I wouldn't do it again, but I was happy I did it.
Wow. Wow. Cool. And you? How about you, lovely Cliff?
I'm going to go off that one very quickly. I have two, but that one, I jumped off now in Martha's Vineyard. There's the Jaws Bridge. For anyone who's been in Martha's Vineyard, Jaws, the original Jaws film was filmed there. And the shark, when the shark came into the bay, he swam under a bridge. So now when you cycle the Martha's Vineyard, you stop at that bridge and you jump off the bridge into the water. So that's pretty cool. I've never told anyone that because I just did it. So that's pretty cool. But another thing is, people don't know about me because everyone thinks I'm this big, tough, strong guy. Now I've got my show. I'm tough. I go out in the middle of the night. But I cry in sad movies. I cry.
Aww.
And you danced at the Moulin Rouge.
And I danced, but that's that. People kind of know that. But yes, I was a principal at the Moulin Rouge. For people who don't know, I was a dancer.
Yeah.
Let me dance for you. I love that. Jazz hands. I love it. Somebody said to me today, you know the emoji, which is the hug with the little things like that. They're like, oh God, I thought it was jazz hands. I guess for me, it is that I have a birthmark. Lots of people don't know that. I have a very large birthmark somewhere on my body. Woo! And what else? I'm a secret agent. No, just kidding.
Agents say that. They all say it.
Exactly. Well, exactly. What do you think of my cover?
Very good.
You guys, I cannot thank you enough. Thank you so much for joining me this evening or this afternoon. You are absolute gems, and I love you all. Please stay on the line once we wrap up. Stay in the green room for 2 minutes so I can say a proper goodbye to you all. But thank you so much. Anything you want to say just quickly before we say goodbye?
Yes, I want to say thank you to you, Suanne, again, for putting this all together. It's an amazing job you're doing. And I really hope it goes further because it's so cool what you're doing, especially in these crazy times we're all facing. So it gives us a chance to be together. And once again, thank you to all the fans out there. Thank you to everyone who's been watching my show and supporting me. Your feedback has been amazing. Keep fingers crossed for season 2. It's going to get more hectic, more scary.
I'd like to second all of that, especially the thanks to Hathor, and hi to Jacqueline and Cliff and everybody. I just enjoy it when the 4 of us get together immensely. And for all the followers of Suanne Braun, Jacqueline Samuda, and Cliff Simon, go to Actual Apophis and hit follow.
Yes, that's right. Otherwise, he's sending an asteroid.
Or otherwise, the asteroid will be there.
I'm afraid I have to say goodbye. I won't be able to join you in the studio because I'm getting my incoming thing. So I better hustle. But thank you so much.
See you,
Jacqueline. Thank
Ciao,
you.
Bye.
And everybody, good night, good afternoon, good morning. Thank you for joining us. I will be here again next week. Next week, we go all Star Trek when I will be talking to the lovely Garrett Wang. And then the week after that, it's Terrell Rothery. For anyone who's new to this channel, please, if you like what you saw tonight, please hit subscribe, tell your friends, tell people about it. People still don't know. We've been going for 22 weeks and people are like, really? You've interviewed Stargate actors? So please help spread the word. Thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Good night, and I'll see you all next week. Bye, guys.